Welcome to Spanglish Sports World on ZINGOTV channel 250 and the Barn Burner Network. Let me remind you, my name is H.E.R. As well, I want to remind you to please download the applications of OSG, Barn Burner, and ZINGOTV on the respective stores on iOS and Android. While you download, please leave me a message, a comment, and a rating in regards to how the application is going, if you have already downloaded it, and the programming. We always like to hear what we have to change in the programming, and that's one of the things that we try to do to make your enjoyment a little bit better. Remember also that ZINGOTV can be found on Google Chromecast, as well as Google Chromecast TV sticks, Amazon Fire sticks, and Amazon Fire, Roku and Roku sticks, and all TVs 2016 forward. So let me start because it's an interesting day. Let's start by discussing what happened yesterday in the world of baseball. As everybody probably already woke up to the news today, it was a 3-1 victory by the LA Dodgers over the Tampa Bay Rays. And I want to say this, there is no reason for the Tampa Bay Rays to feel discouraged. They made it to the World Series in a season full of issues. They made it as the second best team in baseball. Second best record, best team in the American League, in a season that the Yankees were supposed to be the team of the American League. But where there is a dilemma, and everybody's going to talk about it, I think, for the rest of the offseason, is some of the decisions made by manager Kevin Cash, not just in the game, but in the whole World Series. We'll start with the decision to remove one of his pitchers from the roster, giving the way to H.E.R to be placed on the roster. That was probably the first mistake that everyone will come down to. Second mistake during the game yesterday, the removal of Snell out of the game when truly he had a masterful game going. Why would you remove him against Mookie Betts, someone that he has experience with, someone that has an edge over Mookie Betts? You bring Anderson in. Anderson didn't have a stellar performance in this World Series to start with, and now you have an amazing issue. Anderson gives 2 doubles in the process to Mookie Betts. 2 doubles, one to Mookie Betts and one to Wills. And that was all what the Dodgers needed to win this World Series when they were about to go to Game 7. Now, let's talk about the Dodgers, the dynasty that the Dodgers are. They have been in the playoffs 9 out of 10 years. They have made it under manager Dave Roberts the last 4 out of the 5 years that he has been there. And now the demons are out. No one can say Clayton Kershaw doesn't respond well in the playoffs. Masterful 2-0 record with an 0.81 whip and a 2.01 ERA. What else can you say about Clayton Kershaw? Yes, Corey Seager wins the MVP of the series. Corey had a great World Series, but nothing that puts down the performance that Clayton Kershaw went through. On the other hand, you have a gentleman by the name of Julio Urias. Julio Urias comes into the game in the 7th inning and silences the bats of the Tampa Bay Rays. Unbelievable. Think about that. 3 complete innings and he silenced all the bats of the Rays. They only got 1 hit of him in the 8th inning, and that was the end of it. He struck out the side in the 9th, and that was the end. That was the end of the Dodgers. Deserve this World Series, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that I'm playing favorites, but the Dodgers did deserve this World Series. So now we go to what's going to be a major standpoint to see if we are going to have a 2021 season. Remember that the labor contract has to be dealt with. One of the sticking points in that contract is the TV contract just signed by Major League Baseball with the Fox network. It's going to be a major point of discussion. Another of the issues at hand will be the issue with the pension of the players, the eligibility period that in which the players will start exercising. So those are the major sticking points right now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. So let's start looking at some of what is happening now with the free agency already in place. So to start with, Marte, Miami exercises their option on Marte. That's the first news of the just finalizing after the World Series. Starling Marte will make $12.5 million next season as Miami picks up that option. Another Marlins pickup was they picked up the option on Brandon Kinsler. He will earn $4 million next season. So right now, here is the story with the Miami Marlins. 6 players from the 220 roster have became free agents on Wednesday. Right-handed reliever Brad Boxberger and Nick Vincent, catcher Francisco Cervelli, outfielder Matt Joyce, infielders Sean Rodriguez and Logan Forsythe. So that's for the Miami Marlins news. Let's look at other news. The Nationals have declined options on Eaton and Sanchez. Don't know what they are thinking. The Cardinals have declined the option on Wong's contract. But here come the stories that are making news on the it said has been mentioned right now that Springer does not want to return to the Astros next season. So there is possibilities of that move going out. Patrick Reagan reports that the free agent does not want to return to the Astros, which obviously is a huge loss for the Houston club that will already be without Justin Verlander as he recovers from Tommy John surgery. Brantley and Reddick are also free agents this season. So now, out of the Boras camp, and we are going back to the gentleman with the most players under his advisement. Scott Boras has announced that Paxton will enter free agency this offseason. The other story coming around, and I don't think that this will happen. The W fan in New York is saying that Didi Gregorius might be coming back to the New York Yankees, although Brian Cashman has reaffirmed the club's commitment to Torres following the New York after they left the American League Championship. Now, Nelson Cruz might be out of a job, as you know. You have to think of the 40. Mr. Cruz is 40 years old, and he is definitely the only position that he can play technically is the DH position. And you know, when you choose a DH these days in this Major League Baseball office, you have to think of that you have to opt for a player that can either DH and play the outfield or play the infield in some capacity. Nelson Cruz is not at that stage right now. Other news coming out of, we are going to go to see the list of free agents available for this 2021 season, and we are going to look at the different by position. So here are the players with that are going into free agency. H.E.R. Realmuto, he is the most coveted catcher at the catcher position, the most coveted player in that area. As well in that, James McCann is also available as a free agent. Robert Perez could be available, but he does have a player option for 2021. Tyler Fowlers is also there. Jason Castro. One interesting name in that catching situation is Yadier Molina. There is Wilson Ramos as well, Alex Avila, Robinson Chirino, also another possible target in that line. Stephen Bott, Kurt Suzuki, Austin Romine, Mike Zunino. Everybody knows Mike Zunino because he was just now in the World Series. Josh Pegley, Eric Krantz, Matt Winters, Sandy Leon, Brian Holidon, Drew Butera, Wellington Castillo, and Jeff Mattis. So there is a significant names on that that list of catchers that are available for the free agency market. At first base, and it's an interesting idea, and we are going to go with number one in the list, although to me it's not the number one. You have Anthony Rizzo of the Mets, of the Cubs. You also have Carlos Santana as Drupal Cabrera. He's an interesting name. Mitch Moreland is also available. Eric Thames is also available. CJ Cron also available. Jed Giorco is also available. Ryan Zimmerman, Logan Morrison, and Daniel Murphy are available there. At second base, we are going to see a lot of interesting names. Because there is the pride and the pride of New York, DJ LeMahieu, 32-year-old with a 7.8 WAR. He's an interesting to see. You have Colton Wong, Jonathan Villar. Remember that Jonathan Villar was with the Toronto Blue Jays. So let's see whether the Toronto Blue Jays decide to exercise their option on him. Cesar Hernandez, Tobil Stella, and then there is another, a 29-year-old name that played for the Baltimore Orioles for many years, Jonathan Scoop, out of the great island of Curacao. Jason Kipnis is there as well. Enrique Hernandez, Adeiny Echeverria, that's another name that people will remember. Joe Panik is also available. The Stranger Gordon is available. Neil Walker, I don't think that's an option. He has a 0.2 WAR. I mean, do you really want a 0.2 WAR in your lineup? Logan Forsythe, Jed Lowry, at 37. I don't know how many more years he has left. Then you have also Josh Harrison, just signed a 1-year deal with Washington. Chris Owens, Daniel Descalzo, and Jose Pereza. Jose Peraza is young enough that he could be a good, he's a solid infielder, but lacks the bat. His WAR is in the minus 0.9. Now, going to third base at 36 years old with a 4.7 WAR, out of the world champions LA Dodgers, Justin Turner is available in the free agency market. Eric Sogard, former Blue Jay, is also available. Todd Frazier is also available. Marwin Gonzalez, Brock Holt, and H.E.R. Adrianza, Jake Lamb, and Zach Cozart. The shortstop situation is very, very interesting. Marcus Semien, 30 years old, but with the best WAR of this free agent circuit. He has a 8.8 WAR. You also have Jose Iglesias, Didi Gregorius, Andrelton Simmons, Freddie Galvez, and Lurie Garcia. All of those players, ladies and gentlemen, are phenomenal infielders, shortstops, and have an amazing bat. Andrelton Simmons, let's remember, has been a standpoint in the California Angels organization. He can make anyone think twice. In left field, we have Michael Brantley, Brett Garner out of New York, Chuck Penderson from the LA Dodgers, Jurickson Profar, Robbie Grossman, Ryan Braun, and Jay Bruce. Now, here comes center field. And let's look very, very careful at this, because there is phenomenal center fielders available, starting with George Springer, who says he doesn't want to return to the Astros. Jackie Bradley Jr. is also there out of the Boston Red Sox. Kevin Pillar, Jake Marincek, Jared Dyson is also there, and Billy Hamilton. Now, we are moving on to the right fielders, and the right fielders is an interesting situation because you have Nick Castellanos, a tremendous player, Adam Eaton, Cameron Maybin, Yasiel Puig. Now, Yasiel Puig, let's remember, is not in the best of terms with his club, the Mets. I don't know if he's going to return. That's to be seen yet. Matt Joyce, also available. Josh Reddick out of the Houston Astros. Steven Souza Jr. Nick Markakis is also available. Rosdy Castillo, Eduardo Nunez, and John Jay. Now, here comes again the designated hitters. But let's remember this interesting figure, because there is a situation here. There's a couple of players that have player and club option, and some players that have player option if they want to go back. Nelson Cruz at 40 years old, great designated hitter, but do you want to put a player of his caliber just for the plain simple hitting? Then you have Marcel Osuna. Now that's an interesting, 30 years old, a 5.0 WAR. It's interesting. Howie Kendrick, ex-Blue Jay, ex-Seattle Mariner, ex-Cleveland Indian, ex-New York Yankee, Edwin Encarnacion, 38 years old, but man, can he play infield, and man, can he hit when he is there. He has a 2.2 WAR. Next in the line is JD Martinez. After that comes Brad Miller, Shin-Soo Choo as well is in that list, Derek Dietrich. And ladies and gentlemen, with a player option for Giancarlo Stanton. Yes, he hasn't performed as the Yankees would have liked, but do you want to allow him to walk away right now? Pablo Sandoval is also available. Yasmay Thomas, Yoenis Cespedes. Yoenis Cespedes, 35 years old, but a lot of problems with his attitude. Matt Adams and Matt Kemp are also available. Now we come to probably one of the best starting pitcher free agent markets of years. The first one, he has a player and club option, Charlie Morton, 37 years old, but he has a 7.0 WAR. He's the best of the class at that starting pitching position. Trevor Bauer is also available. Mike Minor, Jake Odorizzi, Masahiro Tanaka is also available. Marcus Stroman is also available. James Paxton, Rick Porcello, Adam Wainwright, Kevin Gausman, Homer Bailey, John Lester, Aníbal Sanchez, Brett Anderson, Cole Hamels is also available. Merrill Kelly, Mike Fiers, Martin Perez. That's an interesting name when his name is mentioned. He's 30 years old, and man, does he have velocity. Robbie Ray is also available. J.A. Happ out of the Yankees is also available. Jake Arrieta, Ivan Nova, Rich Hill. Jordan Zimmerman is also available. Gio Gonzalez, Chase Anderson, Taylor Chatwood, Mickey Lake, Jeff Samadrija. Chris Archer is also available. Matt Shoemaker out of the Toronto Blue Jays is also available. Felix Hernandez is available. Jimmy Nelson, Wacha, Alex Wood. Now, relief pitching, and we know how relief pitching is important these days. We have seen it in the playoffs. There is a whole pile of them. Starting with Liam Hendricks with a 5.2 WAR. Kirby Yates is available. Brad Hand, Brandon Workman, Ken Giles. Now, Ken Giles is an interesting situation as he hasn't pitched much lately. Tyler Clippard is available. Yusmeiro Petit is available. Mark Malecon is available. Joaquim Soria, Pedro Baez, Shane Green, Trevor May, Alex Colomy, Andrew Chaffin, Brett Peacock, Sergio Romo. It's interesting that there is a lot of older players, but players that are pitchers that are consistent. Greg Holland's available. Josh Tomlin, Jose Alvarez, Darren O'Day is also available. Trevor Rosenthal is available. Jesse Chavez is available. Junior Guerra, Yoshisa Hirano is available. Aaron Loop. David Phelps available as well. So there is a big interesting group of pitchers. It's going to be interesting to see what develops along the way. I want to touch a little bit on the teams, particularly the Toronto Blue Jays, because the Toronto Blue Jays have a lot to think about. This now, some of the top news out of the Toronto Blue Jays is that Gurriel is up for his first Golden Glove Award in left field. Who would have ever thought of Gurriel as a Gold Glove winner when he started with the Toronto Blue Jays? It's interesting to see, and here are nominations for Gold Glove winners for this season. The announcement will be made November 3rd on ESPN at 8 o'clock. For pitcher, Zach Plesac, Kenta Maeda, and Griffin Cannon. Catcher, Yasmani Grandal, James McCann, and Robert Perez out of the Indians. Yuli Gurriel at first base for the Astros, Matt Olson of the A's, and Evan White of the Mariners. Second base in the American League. Let's see where it's at. There is Cesar Hernandez, Nicky Lopez out of the Royals, Danny Medic of the White Sox, Jonathan Scoop of the Tigers. Remember, let's remember that he is a free agent. Third base, Asaya Keener Falefa of the Rangers, Yohan Moncada of the White Sox, and the ex-Blue Jay and now Yankee Gio Urshela, the Colombian. At shortstop, Carlos Correa of the Astros, J.P. Crawford of the Mariners, and Nico Gordon. Lourdes Gurriel of the Blue Jays in left field goes against Alex Gordon and Kyle Tucker of the Astros. In center field, Byron Buxton of the Twins, Damon Laureano of the A's, and Luis Robert of the White Sox. In right field, Clint Frazier of the Yankees, Joey Gallo of the Rangers, and Anthony Santander of the Orioles. Now let's go to the list in the National League. And you have pitcher, Max Fried of the Braves, Kyle Hendricks of the Cubs. Remember, Kyle Hendricks is also eligible to become a free agent. Alec Mills of the Cubs. So there's two Cubs fighting for the National League Golden Glove. Catcher, you have Wilson Contreras of the Cubs, who is also a free agent, Tucker Berhart of the Reds, and Jacob Stalling of the Pirates. At first base, Brandon Belt of the Giants, Paul Goldschmidt of the Cardinals, and Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs. Remember, he is a free agent. Another free agent nominated for Golden Glove. Adam Frazier at second base competes against Nico Horner and Colton Wong of the Cardinals. Third base, Brian Anderson of the Marlins, Nolan Arenado of the Rockies, and Manny Machado. Think about that. Manny Machado at third base, up for the Golden Glove. Shortstop, Javier Baez, Miguel Rojas, and Dansby Swanson. In left field, Shongo Akiyama of the Reds, Tyler O'Neill of the Cardinals, and David Peralta of the D-backs. In center field, now, this is an interesting story because you have Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Braves going against World Series champion Cody Bellinger and Trent Grisham of the Padres. Let's remember Grisham is also a rookie. In right field, you have Mookie Betts of the Dodgers, Charlie Blackmon of the Rockies, and Jason Hayward of the Cubs. Okay, so with this, let's go now, and we are going to touch down on the NBA. Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA is getting hot. Because there is news in the free agent market. There is news in the free agent market, and is that the Toronto Raptors are working on multiple deals right now. And it's interesting to see what's happening there because one of the rumors is that they are trying to bring back to Toronto. They are trying to bring back to Toronto Kawhi Leonard. The other rumor out there is that Masai Ujiri has been traveling also to the Milwaukee area to try to persuade the Giannis the Greek to come into Toronto. And the last rumor happening, the latest rumor happening, DeMar DeRozan back in a Raptors uniform. Now, there is bigger things to do right now for the Raptors. One of the biggest things that is happening, Fred VanVleet is still a free agent. The other thing that is happening with the Raptors right now is that Ibaka is also a free agent. OG Anunoby is also a free agent. So we have to secure the players that are out there, and nothing has been done. What's the problem? What's the issue? I don't know. Also news out of Barcelona. Barcelona still has not agreed to a contract with Marc Gasol, meaning that Marc Gasol is still available to come. Marc Gasol is... Marc Gasol is still available to come to Toronto next season. What could be happening there? I don't know. I mean, it's very strange, very, very, very strange what's happening now. As well, let's make inroads, other news out of the, let's remember that the Raptors have to replace now one of their coaching staff because he has left to become head coach in another team. So there is much to be talked about in the NBA. So here is the news. Let's see. Let's see who the new head coaches are in the NBA, and let's start with the Brooklyn Nets. Out is Kenny Atkinson. In is Steve Nash. Canadian pride. Amazing player. So it's going to be interesting to see what Steve Nash can do with the Brooklyn Nets. He has a great bunch of guys, and with the return of KD is going to be interesting to see what happens there. Then you have the New York Knicks. Tom Thibodeau is the new head coach of the Knicks. But Thibodeau has had multiple teams in the last 6 seasons. This is his third team. He had stops in Chicago and Minnesota. And it's interesting because there's a lot of players there that are going to have to change their mindset with this coach. The Chicago Bulls hired Billy Donovan, and that's going to be another change for the Chicago Bulls. It's an interesting change, but we'll see what happens there. The New Orleans Pelicans hired Stan Van Gundy. That's another interesting twist in the coaching scenario at New Orleans. Van Gundy hasn't coached since 2017, the 2017-18 season. But he's one of the winningest coaches in the NBA history with 523 wins to his name. The 31st most all time. Then you have the Indiana Pacers that hired Nate Borchgreen. So that's he was Nick Nurse's assistant coach. That's who the Raptors have now to replace. The Clippers, Tyronn Lue is in. He comes out of the Cleveland organization to take over a jam-packed, star-studded team in the LA Clippers. In 1 second. The 76ers have a new coach in Doc Rivers. We'll see what Doc can do in with Chris Paul down there. Rajon Rondo and Chris Paul, and dominant wings Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and we'll see what can be done. The Rockets have a new head coach as well, Stephen Silas. And those are the changes in in the NBA. Now, let's talk a little bit more about other stories going on in the NBA. And so here are the list of players listed to for the MVP award. According to BetOnline, Luka Doncic is the early front runner to be named MVP of the 2021 seasons. Giannis is tied with LeBron James for second place, followed by Stephen Curry, James Harden, and Anthony Davis. Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and Nikola Jokic. Those are the people that are right now. And it's surprising because one of the very low in the list, you have Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, but there is nobody from the Toronto Raptors, considering that they made it that far. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here in that that MVP voting, and it will be soon. Also out of the Philadelphia 76ers, news story, the 76ers have hired Daryl Morey to oversee basketball operations. Morey was the general manager of the Rockets, and now he is the 76ers president. Morey reportedly has a strong relationship with Doc Rivers as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what transpires in Philadelphia this upcoming season. Well, one of the interesting news, ladies and gentlemen, that has come out of this NBA's battleground is the Raptors don't know where they are going to play next season. So one of the most famous guys in another sport, probably the most successful quarterback in right now, Pat Mahomes, says Kansas City welcomes the Raptors. They can play all their home games in KC, and he will make it happen for them. So it's interesting because the Raptors have to find a home if this pandemic continues, and I don't know what they are going to do in that regards, because it's very, very tough to find a home these days for any team. So from the courts, we are going to the ice. Now we are going to see the news in that have been what has happened in the NHL. So latest news is that The Montreal Canadiens had added Toffoli, they agreed to a 4-year contract with free agent forward Taylor Toffoli, a 4-time 20-goal scorer in the NHL, traded for forward Josh Anderson, defenseman Joel Edmonds, and goalie Jake Allen, and agreed to a 6-year extension with forward, and they had agreed to a 6-year extension with forward Brendan Gallagher. So they are moving forward in their battle. The Canadiens also strengthened their roster by emerging Sergeys Nick Suzuki, Jesper Konen, and also have Jonathan Drouin as well. So here are the key arrivals. Tyler Trophy, 28 years old, who agreed to the Montreal Canadiens on October 12th. Josh Anderson, the forward, has agreed to a 7-year deal. Alexander Romanov agreed to a 3-year entry-level contract. Joel Edmondson agreed to a 4-year deal. Jake Allen, the goalie, also accepted a 2-year contract extension. So let's see at the free agent market right now as it stands. So here are signings by the Anaheim Ducks. Kevin Shattuck agrees to a 3-year deal contract. Derek Grant signs a 3-year contract. Chase DeLeo, Andy Walensky, Andrew Politite, Vinny Lettieri signed a 1-year contract with Ducks. In the free agent market, unrestricted free agents already signed. Kevin Boyle signed with Detroit. Kyle Kirchhill signed with Detroit. Michael Del Soto is still available. Patrick Evans. Max Cord signed in Germany. Matt Irwin signed with Buffalo. Ryan Miller is still an unrestricted free agent. Chris Mueller, Blake Pantania, and Chris Weiderman signed with the KHL. So they have done significant losses. The Arizona Coyotes signed Tyler Piltic to a 2-year deal. John Hayden signs a 1-year deal with the Coyotes. Jordan Gross, Dryden Hunt signed a 1-year deal with the Coyotes. Jonathan Larson signs a 2-year deal. And Christian Fisher. The Boston Bruins signed Craig Smith, Jacob Sabriel, Greg McKegg, Callum Both. Kevin Miller also signed, Matt Greslick, and also Carson Coleman, and Zach Session signed with the Bruins. A lot of acquisitions by the Buffalo Sabres. Taylor Hall signs a contract with the Sabres for 1 year. Semgus Gregerson signs a 3-year deal. Tobias Ryder signs a 1-year deal. Brandon Montour signs a 1-year deal. Cody Aiken signs a 2-year deal. Brandon Davidson signs a 1-year deal. Stephen Fogarty signs a 1-year deal. Casey Nelson signs a 1-year deal. Sam Reinhart signs a 1-year deal. Lemus Ulmark signs a 1-year deal. And Matt Irwin signs a 1-year deal. The Calgary Flames are another team with a lot of players that sign deals. Jacob Markstrom signed a 6-year deal with them. Christopher Tanev signs a 4-year deal. Louis Dominique signs a 1-year deal. Glenn Garwin, 1 year. Zach Rinaldo, Byron Force, Robinson, Tyler Parson, Andrew Magapi, Jochen Nordstrom, Nordin Simon, Nikita Nestrev, and Josh Leiva. And remember, Josh Leiva used to be with the Toronto Maple Leafs at one point in time. He's now with the Calgary Flames. The Hurricanes have a bunch of people there, but let's go to the teams that matter to the Toronto, and that is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's see what the Toronto Maple Leafs have done, which is not too much from the size of it. Let's see, Toronto. TJ Brody signed a 4-year deal with the Maple Leafs. Aaron Dell signed a 1-year deal. Wade Simmons, a 1-year deal. Zach Brogesen, Jimmy Bassey, Travis Boyd, Joe Thornton, Ilya Mikheyev signed a 2-year deal, and Travis Dermott a 1-year deal. Toronto lost Miro Allison, Tyson Berry. They lost also David Clarkson, Kyle Clifford, Tyler Caudette, Kevin Gravel is still out there, Nathan Horton is still out there, Matt Lorito is also there, Colin Mackey went to Colorado, Jeremy Brasco went to Carolina, Fred Gauthier is still out there, Ivan Rodriguez signed with Pittsburgh, and Max Berno is still there. So those are the signings until now. We'll see what transpires in the next couple of weeks. And now we will be heading to examine the MLS, the latest scores from the MLS. Right now, live in action are the New York Red Bulls are in overtime, in adjacent time against New England, leading 1-0. At halftime, Orlando City leads Atlanta United 2-0. Sporting KC is leading Cincinnati after 65, 1-0. Philadelphia is tied with Chicago at 1 in the 62nd minute. Toronto FC is losing to New York FC in the 64th minute, 1-0. Minnesota is leading Colorado at halftime, 1-0. DC United is leading 1-0 over Columbus at halftime. With the 22nd minute, is tied at 0, FC Dallas against Inter Miami. And games to be still to start at 10 p.m. tonight, Portland and LA Galaxy, the Houston Dynamo, LAFC, San Jose, and Real Salt Lake. We'll continue along, and now we'll head to the Champions League games from today. Interesting set of events we'll start with games yesterday, and then we'll go to today's games. Yesterday, the Lokomotiv Moscow lost against Bayern Munich. That was known. Bayern Munich is just a powerhouse. No one seems to be able to do anything. Shakhtar got Donetsk out of Turkey, tied with Inter Milan at 0. Marseille and lost to Man City 3-0. Liverpool beat Maitland 2-0. Real Madrid tied with Mönchengladbach of the German team 2-2. Atletico de Madrid beat Salzburg 3-2. Porto beat Olympiacos 2-0. Atalanta tied with Ajax at 2. Krasnodar lost to Chelsea 4-0. Istanbul H.E.R lost to PSG 2-0. Today, Dynamo Kiev tied with Ferencváros at 2. Juventus beat again without Cristiano Ronaldo by Barcelona 2-0. Man United beats RB Leipzig 5-0. Club Lazio and Club Brugge tied at 1. Dartmouth beats Zenit 2-0. And Sevilla beats Rennes 1-0. So here you have the results of the Champions League. Interesting results, because after Man United got beat and Barcelona as well, Barcelona bounced back to beat Juventus. That's a great matchup. But remember, Juventus is without Cristiano Ronaldo due to a positive COVID test. We'll head to tennis and see the latest news from the Erste Bank Open in Austria. Let's look at the full score. Let's look at the results so far. So Novak Djokovic, the number 1 seed, beat Borna Korek 7-6, 6-3. Kevin Anderson beat Pablo Carrena Bausta 7-5, 6-1. Those matches were in the round of 16. Other matches as well. Novak Djokovic. It's here. Dominic Thurn beat Vitaly Shanko 6-4, 7-5. Stefanos beat Jan Lennart Stuff. Lost 6-7, but then recovered and beat him 6-3, 6-4. Daniil Medvedev beat Jason Jung 6-3, 6-1. Denis Shapovalov got beat 6-4, 7-5, the Canadian. Taylor Fritz got beat, surprising by Borna Korek 6-4, 6-4. Vasek Popsil beat Felix his teammate and countryman Felix Auger Alassim 7-5, 7-5. So there you go for the singles. In the doubles, in the quarterfinals, Robert Farah and Fabrice Martin beat Karen Kashoff and Audrey Burbelov. Unbelievable match. The match went 6-7, 6-4, 10-2. So can you imagine 10-2, ladies and gentlemen, to win a match? All right. So let's move on and we'll go to WTA because WTA also had some action today. And let's look at the latest news from WTA. So WTA has most of their events canceled. They will reunite actually November 9th in Austria for the Upper Austria Ladies Leagues. That will be the next match for the ladies in, let's see some of the news coming up. So one of the interesting things happening in the women's tennis is that the rankings are there, but it's still very confusing to me. Everybody in the pool, in the rankings, in the top 10, have played above 14 tournaments, and the only player not to have competed in more than 14 is Canada's Bianca Andreescu. What's going on with her is the concern of a lot of the analysts as well as the tennis world. After winning the US Open and the French, what happened to her? She's just not out there. She says she's injured. Yeah, but come on. She has been injured for the last 8 months. Yes, COVID has hit, but she's the only one that hasn't pronounced herself in regards to where she's heading and where it's coming. She's dropping in the rankings because she doesn't play tournaments. Now, the WTA will have to take a decision whether to sanction her for lack of participation. Will they drop her from the rankings? We don't know. At 20 years old, she's the youngest of the women in the top 20, in the top 10. She's above Petra Kvitova, Kiki Bertens, and Serena Williams. But she's quickly dropping down. Petra is only, to be exact, 30 points behind her in the rankings in points. So can this be it? And Bianca drops another spot. Most of the people are just there. Kiki Bertens of the Netherlands has 4,505 points. Andrescu has 45.55. So things are to be decided. We'll see if she participates in a tournament happening in Vienna. We'll see what happens there. So from there we go to cycling because it's interesting, the stages, and right now as it stands, we are in stage 8 right now, in the La Vuelta of Spain, and we did have in stage 7, a Canadian lead the way. Let me see if we can see stage by stage. Right now, the leader through 8 stages, Primoz Roglic of Team Jumbo of Slovakia. Time, Ineos Grenadier leads in time. In points is Greg Martin. Movistar's Imas leads is the youngest in the thing. The best team happens to be Movistar again. And is the Spanish, the German, the Wolf as the most combative prize. So here we go. So right now we are in stage, as we said, we are in stage 8. Primoz Roglic leads the pack for Team Jumbo Visma with 4 hours, 7 minutes and 8 seconds. Richard Carapaz is in second spot, only 13 seconds behind the leader. Daniel Martin of Israel Startup Nation is 19 seconds behind. Alexander Bosolov of Asna Pro Team is in 4th spot, 25 seconds behind. Eric Mas of Movistar is 54 seconds behind. So we have